Muggsy, you look at him and you see in stature he's small, but at the same time, man, this kid, he had a heart of a lion. He went out there and he laid it all out on the line, and being able to play with him, it was fun, because every night I'd admire what he was doing.
Muggsy was the smallest, fiercest player that I've ever seen.
He had every reason to play with a chip on his shoulder. There's a lot of people, including his second NBA coach, Dick Harder, said he shouldn't be in the game because he's 5'3". How am I supposed to play a game with a guy this height? He played much bigger. He was much bigger in terms of his stature.
He was the smallest guy on the court, but he played like the biggest guy on the court. You know, he played with the most heart. You know, and at 5'3", the way that he could do things and how fast he was, and
speed. I mean, first and foremost, his feet. I've never seen anybody with better feet.
Little undersized, but fast and bringing the ball up the floor. I was in love with small, fast point guards. And Muggsy and I were a perfect combo as far as the guy that I wanted to run our team.
He was a spark plug. I mean, man, he had to be one of the fastest guys in the league. And I'm talking about this is with and without the basketball. So
Muggsy, obviously, the heart of that guy to be 5'3" and play in the NBA. Can't tell you how big a heart he has and how competitive he was, how he could read everything on the floor, time and score.
his basketball IQ was far and beyond that of most NBA players. He understood the game, you know, and he understood exactly where you needed to be because he's a general. You know, he's a point guard. He used to always, you guys couldn't hear him say this, but he used to always say on the court, "Come on, honey. Come on, honey." He called everybody honey. You know.
I think Muggsy kind of gave us a little bit of our identity, that scrapper, intensity. Okay, we may not be the most talented group, but if we go out and we play to the best of our ability every night, we can get something done.
His competitive spirit, I mean, bigger than everyone's. You were never gonna punk Muggs.
Muggsy Bogues wasn't trapped in a 5'3" body. He almost cherished it, worshiped it. It became something that motivated him.
I gotta go for it.
He was a pest defensively, and he bothered people.
There were so many players in the league that hated bringing the ball up the court against Muggsy. His low center of gravity, and he used to being a wrestler, and he was getting in and stealing the ball and move his feet really well and quick. Nobody wanted to bring the ball up against Muggsy.
You know, it's amazing when you have that 24-second shot clock and you have somebody pressuring you for 10 or 15 seconds of those shot clock, how well our defense was because he was able to take so much time off the clock. You know, teams couldn't get in their offense when he really wanted to disrupt them.
It's not like you could say, oh, he's little, we're gonna throw him. No, he was so little and strong, he'd root you out to, you know, 15 or 16 feet before you caught the ball, and now you're not in the post anymore.
Very difficult to play against him. You know, playing against some bigger and taller guys, it was very difficult to for those guys to find the body and check him out.
I think the thing that makes Muggsy such a unique player is the fact that, you know, he's been used to hearing how small he is, and I felt that he used that to his advantage. You know, it doesn't make a difference your size. He showed that, you know, you could be big, you could be small, and still there's a place for you in this game.
When bigger guards would post him up, his teammates would say, "Muggsy, you need any help?" He said, "Nope. He's just as unaccustomed to doing this as I am," if he backed you down into the post. And he was right. Oftentimes, many players say, the worst thing about Muggsy Bogues is when you can't see him, because that means he's soon to get in your grill or steal something out of your back pocket.
He wasn't worried about, being the guy with the most points or being the star on the team or a guy in the paper. He just wanted to lead his team, to make sure he got the assist to help you score as easily and as quickly as you could.
I remember him basically taking me under his wing and just telling him, like, "Young fella, all I want you to do is run. Don't let me beat you down the court."
you know, and he was serious. He said, I'll find you, just run.
I owe a lot to Muggsy because Muggsy gave me an opportunity to go out there and get extra shots. Because if it wasn't for his pinpoint passes, probably would have been a little more of a struggle.
All of us did whatever Muggsy said on the floor. He was the general. We trusted him with the ball. But I knew if the ball was coming my way, I'm not to dribble. He's only going to throw it to me when I'm open and catch and shoot because he wanted to assist. If I had to pump fake and put it on the floor for an escape dribble, why are you dribbling the ball? It's the first thing, whether the shot went in or not. Why are you dribbling the ball? I'm giving it to you so you don't have to dribble. That guy was funny, man, but he was competitive, the leader of our group. We trusted him with anything.
He would penetrate, you know, and it's hard to believe that he would go into those trees. He would, I mean, as small as he was, he would get into those trees. And then the plays that he would make were phenomenal for a guy his size, to be able to see guys, have the court vision that he had, you know. So it was very fun playing with Muggsy.
Muggsy was the heart of the team for a long time. I mean, all the players respected him. He played hard. You know, he was an underdog, even though he never carried himself like an underdog. He was only an underdog in other people's eyes, not his own. And, you know, to be a starting point guard for all those years, I think says a tremendous amount about his competitiveness, his toughness.
He was going to go out there and give his all. He was going to work hard. I got to spend a lot of time with Muggsy between year 1 and year 2. Muggsy would come into the Grady Cole Center off Kings, and he would come in and put up shots every day. And I would rebound for him, and he got better. He worked hard. He improved his game.
He was just, his character, his temperament, he loved to play. He was a fierce competitor. But, you know, it was fun playing with him.
Little guy, but with a big personality. You know, I was fortunate enough to play with, with him and Larry, who, both had a zest for life, just a zest for the game. They enjoyed it, and, Muggsy was a huge impact.
He was a great teammate. I mean, we would laugh. He's outside of Shaquille O'Neal, Muggsy was probably one of the funniest guys, in the league. I mean, he was always joking, always in a great mood. I mean, there's a lot of times, sometimes guys would be down, but then Muggsy was always making sure he was that one guy that, that went over there and made sure that, everything was okay. He was our leader.
On the floor, I remember I was having a good game. Had made a few in a row. And coming down the floor, he would just directions. He's always pointing, not saying a lot. Go this way. I come off a screen not open. He's still dribbling the ball. Go back that way. Get him again. He's just, well, whatever he could do to get me a shot, but that's just how he was.
He's really a fun-loving, exuberant guy, so he was also the guy keeping us light, keeping us smiling, keeping us joking.
Muggs had a lot of charisma. He really did. People gravitated towards Muggsy because he was small, and traditionally speaking, basketball players were tall and they stood out. Muggsy blended right on in. He was the average height of your NBA fan. People loved him. Kids loved Muggsy. They really did.
Our families were so close. Our kids grew up together. We lived, cat a corner from each other at Strawberry Hill, and our kids, first two kids are about the same age. Our wives got along well together. I remember I put on a Barney suit at Muggsy's daughter's 8th birthday or something because he rented a Barney suit, but it was way too big for him. So he calls me, he goes, Dell, I need you to fill in getting this Barney suit. Absolutely, man. We had fun with it. Until one of my kids obviously looked around the party and went, my dad's not here. And Dad, are you in that Barney suit? Get out of here, boy.
One of our first practices or games, I don't remember which it was, but I take my player down below the basket and I flash right in front of him and I'm wide open. I got my hands wide open. If you did that playing with Magic, you were going to get the basketball. But I looked up at Muggsy, who had the ball, and I was between him and the defender and I couldn't even see Muggsy. So I knew he couldn't see me. So I go like, okay, I've got to find another way to get the ball from Muggsy. But we ended up having a great chemistry, and the fact that he could, get by people and dart by people and pass the basketball and make some shots. Really tough player.
He was tough as nails too. One day we're in Portland at a practice. We're about to play the Trailblazers the next day.
JR popped him with a towel. Muggsy used to wrestle when he was young, and JR was always on Muggs about how little he was.
J.R. Reed, who's 6'9", 270 pounds, says to Muggsy that you cannot, if I wrestle you, I'll pin you. Muggsy said, oh really?
They're both looking at each other, and we're all just at our chairs like, well, how's this gonna go down? Before we knew it, Muggsy was behind JR, picked him up and dropped him right on his head.
Muggsy pins J.R. Reed and does not let him off of the floor. Because at 5'3", when he's on the floor, I mean, he's pretty much got the leverage on you. That told me right there how tough Muggsy Bogues was.
And Muggs wrestled in high school, but that was the last time. JR, we lost it. Guys are running around. Muggs didn't break a smile.
Can you imagine J.R. Reed not being able to get up floor when Muggsy Bogues is on top of him? Yeah, that's how tough Muggsy Bogues was.
If you didn't know any better, you would think that it was impossible. But I got an opportunity to see it night in and night out. And I realized that was just hard work and his determination to get it done, despite his size.
He was the catalyst of what turned an expansion franchise into a playoff team.
People doubted him at every corner, and he showed, you can win with me leading your team. And that's what he did.